When have you asked yourself how time is serving you? Are you a slave to time, or is it your friend?
This is the Born to be Brilliant podcast, helping you harness the habits and unlock the tools to bring you more meaning, vibrance, and the personal power to help you shine like the diamond you are.
Time. It's time to talk about time. This is literally the currency of life. Time. I've got my hourglass here. For those of you listening, you can't see this, but I've got my hourglass here, and I love using the hourglass as a metaphor, because every grain of sand that's running through the hourglass, if you think of that as a symbol of your life, right? All these grains are going through here, and we don't know how long. I don't know, maybe it's an hour, but you don't know how long it's gonna go for. And I feel like I want to make every little trickle of grain count. I want it to all matter. I actually want it to matter even when I'm gone. But you could drop that. You could drop that hourglass and it could smash to pieces and it's game over, which, is when, sadly, lives are taken too soon. You don't know how long you've got, is what I'm saying. And it's precious. And you want it to count, but the only thing that you can't buy more of is time. And that's why there's the old analogy of the billionaire. The 90-year-old billionaire would give all their money to be a 20-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no price you can put on time. It's the most valuable currency that we have, and yet we spend so much of our time. Like, how much of our time is wasted? How much of our time do we spend doing things that just don't really matter, or worrying about things that don't really matter when all is said and done? Like that bothers me. Like, I want it to all count. I want it to all matter. So when you're in business and you're working for money, that's fine if you can leverage your time and it generates you the money that you can then go and use your rest of your time enjoying that, enjoying the fact that that money has brought you choices to do certain things, or to spend time with certain people, or to experience the life that you want to experience. But if it's doing work you love, that's a massive, massive bonus. But if you're working, doing something you don't love, and it takes up all your time, there's got to be some questions to ask. Like, well, why then? Like, what for if it doesn't even buy you? We can do work that we don't enjoy to earn money that we can then spend time doing things we enjoy. But if it doesn't do that, what's it for? I think we really underestimate time. We spend a lot of time sleeping, a third of our lives apparently. But that's vital, because the more we sleep and the healthier our sleep, well, not the more we sleep, but the healthier our sleep, so however much we need, is actually correlated to how long we live. So it's not like, oh, I don't want to waste my time sleeping. It's like one of the best investments you can give to your health, your happiness, your well-being, so your experience of life mentally and physically, and longevity. So is going to sleep a waste of your time? No, it's vital. It's one of the best things you can prioritize. So, and this is why people, the Buddhist monk that spends 8 hours a day, meditating, gets more done than somebody who spends all day, slogging it out, trying to do something. It's crazy, isn't it? The concept of time. And yet there's also the argument of that there's no such thing as time. There's only the humanized version of time, which is what we see on a clock, which is something that we've created in order to organize ourselves, on this earth. But yet, actually, it's not really a thing. That's a bit deep, and probably for another podcast with another guest. But in the context of time and time leverage for you as a high-performing, high-achieving entrepreneur, when have you asked yourself how time is serving you. Are you a slave to time, or is it your friend? Because overwhelm is simply having too many unscheduled things on your plate. If they're scheduled and you've allocated time to them, you don't feel the feeling of overwhelm, because overwhelm is a feeling and it comes from a thought. So if we can change the facts are these things are in the schedule, these things don't matter anyway, and we can clean it all up. The thought then becomes, everything's fine because everything has its allocated bit of time. Therefore, the feeling is calm, in flow, overwhelm, gone, just like that. So, and I don't doubt you've all experienced overwhelm, because if you're a high achiever, it kind of comes with the territory. But you can get out of it quite quickly, not by going, as soon as I get to the bottom of my to-do list, then I won't feel overwhelmed. Newsflash, that there is no bottom of the to-do list. That doesn't exist. As I've said before, the list doesn't actually get shorter. It's just that the weight of it gets lighter because you stop applying so much. You don't apply the feeling, the thought of overwhelm, the feeling that comes with that to that list. You just go, allocate the time, get the stuff done. So if it's such a valuable resource, and how we use our time really matters, because we need time to look after our health, we need time to look after our well-being, to sleep, to exercise, to eat healthy food, to connect with other human beings and have connection and relationships. Those things take time. Your investment is time to put yourself, out and spend time with people, right? There's no such thing as a relationship without time. Everything takes your resource of time. So how can you bend time, if you like, or leverage time to get where you want to get to faster? That may be income levels, it may be results and outcomes, impact created, whatever it is, to get there quicker so that you can experience the benefit and that freedom. If we can have freedom of time, as in time is abundant for us, the difference that will make to your existence in this life is huge. So where does that begin? Because people often automatically associate time with productivity. If you nail your productivity and your time management, you're leveraging time. But I don't believe it's as simple as that, because it also matters how you're spending it, like a currency. Like, where are you throwing it out there, and where are you spending that time? Because if you gain it, it's like, think of it as money. You get it in and you spend it out. It's a flow. It comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. You want to make that flow feel awesome. So you're like, great, this is where I spend it, and I spend my currency of time, and this is where I get it back in. But who's actually thinking about that? Getting it. I think that all we think is of spending it, and it's just time is just going away all the time. We're not actually getting it back. So how can you actually get it back? This is kind of this is getting into some of the work that I do with clients, because it's unbelievable where you can be operating in a way that feels like there's no white space in your diary and your plan, and you are just doing, and you're like, well, after all the doing, then I'll stop being. Like, why do we have to do before we can be? And I get it, because I'm one of these people who is like, I want a nice clean environment that's organized so that I can then do my work or whatever, or then I can just be who I want to be and how I want to be. So you feel like you've got to do before you can be. But what if actually you're being all the time, and in that doing, so you're gaining back time by making sure that you allocate those things in a way that creates that space as well. Simple things, not taking on too much, do ditch or delegate. Make sure that it's either it's something you're going to do and you know how and when you're going to do it. You can ditch it because it actually doesn't even matter, or you can delegate it to somebody else. That is a simple, time management hack. And then obviously time blocking and making sure that you've got, blocks of time and you're not over scheduling yourself, which is something I'm also guilty of, or have been very guilty of in the past. It's like, yeah, I can do all the things. So not over scheduling and so on. Winning back free space to be creative, to think, to let stuff land is so valuable. And I think more and more people are listening up to that message now. Rest and time out is where the magic happens, in the space between. But what about fast forwarding the results? If you have, for instance, a revenue goal and you think that's fine, if you told your accountant, for instance, that you're going to go from, I don't know, 0 to 7 figures in 18 months, and they probably be like, yeah, okay, that doesn't happen and that's not normal. And they don't understand that. Usually they're analytical brained people. The creatives go, well, yeah, it's absolutely possible. I've seen so-and-so do it and so-and-so do it, and I'm going to follow these steps and I'm going to do it. So you can collapse time if you can get really clear on the steps that you need to take to do that. But what you can't do is spin your wheels with hope or expectation that it's going to just happen, or that or that somebody else is going to just hand you the keys and it will just take off like that. You've got to be super, super intentional. But yes, you can move things faster with that. And that takes all the other elements, the clarity, the strategy. Yes, the time allocation to implement that, but it also takes embodying it into the human, the driver that's you, the vehicle, the vessel that is you, which does require you to be in good form. It does require you to have the right energy. It does require you to show up with the output all the time, which also requires you to be in the identity of the person. Because when I say identity, I've done a whole episode on this, but I mean the behaviors that come from you as that person. Because if your identity says, I don't have any time, you're going to be that person who just never has any time. If your identity is of somebody who is in flow and moves through things very calmly, then you're going to show up differently. Same for the outcome. So if it is that, I want to be hitting 7 figures in 18 months, are you already in the identity of somebody who generates 7 figures? Because if you're starting from 0 and you're that's a pipe dream, you're going to stay or struggle to really elevate very much. But if you really believe and you are calibrated with that identity, then absolutely that can happen for you. But that person won't give up after 5 no's, 6 no's, 27 no's, 52 no's. They'll keep going because they know that the resilience, the grit, the consistency, the persistence as well is what it's going to take to just break through. And then once they get there, they'll find that it comes easier and easier and easier. And that belief is vital. If you find it hard and give up, find it hard and shrug your shoulders and go, I don't know, what else? It's like, no, nothing else, not something else. There's not a shiny object over there that's going to save you. It's keep going, refine, get better, pick yourself up when you get knocked down. It's going to happen, and keep moving forward. And being in the identity of the person who achieves the thing you want to achieve is going to also then mean that you collapse time because you get there faster. The results come quicker. The lessons come quicker too. It's not all results. It's not all rosy. You do make mistakes. You do have setbacks, but the person who gets to the, to that goal is the person who goes, oh, right, okay, didn't see that coming, finds the lesson, learns from it, and then keeps going and moves forward and doesn't go, oh no, that's a roadblock, so I'm going to now take a left turn or a right turn and I'm going to go a different way. Because then you're just getting lost and you're just spinning around like a headless chicken. So it's the identity of the winner of the prize that you're going after is vital as well. So there's all these components and it can feel like a minefield. I get that. It really can. And that's why I work with people to You just really find out which is the pillar here that we really need to be working on right now, and let's get that one done. Okay, let's also look at this one, and we calibrate the human behind the business. That's what we need to do. But just imagine what you would feel like if you woke up every day and felt like time, the most valuable currency there is, you're optimizing it. Like, you don't know how many days you've got left, but that you know every single one of them counts. Whether it's a duvet day with your kid on the sofa, or whether it's a high-flying badass business day, you're making every one of them count, and you're loving every moment of it. Isn't that the ultimate definition of success? Seriously? You know, there's an exercise you can do where if you had squares on a page, I'll talk it through so you can form a visual. Maybe you're driving right now and you can just form a visual in your mind. If you had a squared page and you had a square for every year of your life, and if what's the average lifespan now? It's around 80 years, isn't it? Something like that. Let's just use that as a round number. If you have 80 squares on a page and then you shade out how many squares are, how many years you've lived so far, so your age, and look at how many is left. Look at that on a grid, on a piece of paper. It's humbling. You'll be like, okay. And it really drives my message home of what I'm trying to say today about time. Because you look at like, well, this is how much I've had and this is how much I've got left. And I'm telling you, that is only going to shrink. There's no other way. That is true for every single one of us. And how fast it shrinks is, going to be different for different people. But if you're going to go with that average, can you make every square count? And then, within every square is 365 mini squares, which is every day. And can you make every single one of them count? Every single one of them matter, and feel great about it in the process. This is what I love about helping business owners get to the point of why. Because I can help you with your business. I can help you with your marketing. I can help you with your systems, your processes, your time management. You're like, okay, I can help you with all of the stuff. But if you, the person behind that business, isn't feeling like great about why you're doing it, where you're going, and what it's all for, then what is it all for? Like, you're here on this earth for something, even if it's just to have fun. Like, are you? So that's what I love about Calibrate and helping my clients to calibrate the human behind the business. If this resonates with you, do reach out or look at the show notes where I will put a link to my program called Calibrate. And to just bring this back home, if your business isn't generating the revenue you need it to make, you need to look at that. And everything I'm saying is relevant to that. If your time is off, if your happiness is off, some people go, yeah, but I can make a load of money and not be happy. It's like, you can. Do you want to? And also, in some cases, you can't, because actually our energy infiltrates all the areas. And at what cost is what I'll also say. At what cost? If you're stressed out and that creates inflammation, and inflammation then creates disease, and then it's and then it's all over too soon, and you actually never got any time to enjoy the revenue you made. It's a bit of a waste, really, isn't it? So it's so important to look at all of these aspects and create a business that thrives, that makes you the money, that allows you to have the freedom, that gives you the life that you flipping love, and that your time here matters. That is my message for you today. And I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. But please do reach out with your thoughts, your comments, what else you'd love to hear on the podcast, and have a look at the link to Calibrate as well. Take care.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go out there and shine your light bright because you were born to be brilliant.